Hey there, YouTube land, and right now I'm going to do a review of the Arrow video release of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Going to be some spoilers in here, but for anybody that's not familiar with this film, it's a fantastic film by Philip Kaufman, done in 1978. Now, the original Invasion of the Body Snatchers was not filmed in 1978. It was a Don Siegel film back in, I think, 1956. Now, Don Siegel's version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers was slightly different. Studios kind of had their hands in it, so the ending of the film was changed, and a lot of the humor and stuff was taken out of the original Siegel film, which pretty much displeased both Siegel and the star of the first film, Kevin McCarthy. Now, when Philip Kaufman was going to remake this film here, he went to Siegel to get his blessing. And at the time, they went and started talking to Siegel, saying he was going to make this film, that he basically respected that Siegel did. Siegel talked to him about the fact that of what the film was supposed to be, how the ending was supposed to go, and around that time, Kevin McCarthy actually showed up, and came in, and they both talked to Philip Kaufman about how the film was originally supposed to go and what their vision of that was. Now, of course, Invasion of the Body Snatchers is based on the story Body Snatcher by Jack Finney. Jack Finney was kind of like, he wasn't a science fiction writer, he was a writer of a lot of different genres. He wrote stuff for a lot of popular magazines and stuff like that at the time. He would later go back to write a kind of a book-length version of Invasion of the Body Snatchers, again called Body Snatchers. But when this one came out, he would kind of like update it a little bit, and that's when the book would become Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Jack Finney was not a really political guy, so when he was writing the book, he didn't have the political sociology mindsets, whatever, that the films would imply. If anything, Jack Finney was a guy that lamented the loss of the small towns and like the big cities that were coming in. So his Body Snatcher story probably had a lot to do with the loss of small towns to a larger society. Now, in the original Invasion of the Body Snatcher film, it talks a lot about kind of like not so much the Red Scare. Well, the Red Scare in a sense, like not of the Body Snatchers themselves being communists, but almost I would say is in McCarthyism. And this one here, the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, would go further with it, and would set itself in San Francisco. And in doing so, it makes a statement right there. It takes it out of the small town into the big city, but not just any big city. It could have went to New York, could have went anywhere, but it went with San Francisco, which was very much a city that was in transition. It was very much a city that had a lot of independence and a lot of different characters to it. It was a city with character, with many different characters, and we're talking about a time where self-help and books like that and stuff were coming out, and we would see this in this film here. We would see all these frames referenced, and it would do so with a solid cast. Donald Sutherland, who's already a star at this point, anchors the movie Invasion of the Body Snatchers. We got Brooke Adams, of course, we've seen also in the movie Dead Zone, another fantastic film. We have Leonard Nimoy in here in a very, very different role. This is kind of his post-Spock role. And Jeff Goldblum, who I think would pretty much cement the roles that he would later go on to do with Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And, of course, last but not, and definitely not least, is Veronica Cartwright, who is an extremely important character in this film. And one other actor that I got to note is Canadian actor Art Hindle, who you've probably seen in a lot of stuff and not recognized. And if you watch Black Christmas, he's in the original Black Christmas as well. And if you're looking at the screen behind me, every once in a while, that close-up face that you see of the guy in the kind of the suit, that's Art Hindle. I know him a lot from a TV series called E&G. Basically, it was a journalism show, basically kind of like a soap opera type journalism show that came out around the time that I was doing journalism in school myself. Now, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the Arrow edition, has a fantastic transfer. There's Art Hindle in the background right now. As you can see, they have a brand new cover here. It's a fantastic, phenomenal looking cover of their original art's on the other side. There's also a steelbook of this. I like this because I love this artwork here, and the steelbook tended to use the original art. There's just such great stuff in here. First thing I've got to talk about. There's a thing called Discussing the Pod, and Discussing the Pod has Kim Newman, Ben Wheatley, and Norman J. Warren talking about basically in a roundtable discussion, talking about the film and the elements not only of this Invasion of the Body Snatchers but of the other one as well. They even talk about the Abel Ferrara one, and they give it actually a pretty good review, which I'm glad about because I don't think the movie was that bad. The only version of the Body Snatchers that definitely gets a bad review, and honestly, it's a sad thing, but yeah, Invasion was pretty awful with Nicole Kidman and Daniel Craig. Now this here, however, is stock full of great stuff, but this round table discussion would be worth it alone. I would have paid $20 just to hear the round table discussion that these three guys do. It is incredibly entertaining, engaging, and you will be watching and rewatching this. It is that damn good of a feature. It discusses the film extremely well, but not only that. Afterwards, if your appetite is not whetted enough right then, we go to dissecting the pod, and basically, Kaufman's biographer Annette Insdorf talks about Kaufman, and we get to learn more about stuff. Kaufman had an extremely varied filmography, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers, although a science fiction film and a fantastic one, did a lot of films, in Bearable Lightness of Being, stuff like that, Quills, movies that were definitely not science fiction. He had a very wide breadth of work, and Invasion of the Body Snatchers works probably because he is not just a genre director. He is a guy that can really do characters well. And the characters in Invasion of the Body Snatchers are extremely well thought out. They're extremely well done. I mean, right from the beginning, you get the relationship between Brooke Adams' character and Donald Sutherland's character. You get all the idiosyncrasies between the characters of Jeff Goldblum's character and the character of Leonard Nimoy plays. The hatred and stuff like that. When they become pods, it's almost sad that you lose that dynamic. But it also lets you know that by really having these characters, not overly having to explain it, but just showing these characters as actual real people with real emotions and backstories that don't need to be explained because you just accept them because they are that well rounded already. If this was done today, there would have to be some sort of like ultra uber explanation behind every character, but the characterization is just done so well and so beautifully here that I gotta say it is pretty much for me a perfect science fiction film. Invasion of the Body Snatchers is one of my favorite films of all time, and is definitely one of my top favorite science fiction films of all time. And it's an actual real science fiction film, guys. This is no Star Wars here, which was a fantasy film. This is actually a really dark, kind of, and at times funny, just a really cool film. I've just scraped the surface of the features that are on this one here. I mean, there's commentaries, there's a crap load more features. We get a guy talking about actually talking about Jack Finney, the author of the original story, and his life and what his thoughts and ideology was behind all this. It's amazing. You can see the menu screen there in the background, and it just gives like a. It's not able to really show you just how well this one is done and how the transfer is. I'm going to see if I can just get a scene from the film. I'm not going to turn it up or anything like that, copyright issues, but still. This has always been a favorite film of mine. So, let's just go a little bit ahead. And look at this sequence, we're starting to see the pods come into play, and it is obviously a horrific scene. So, guys, if you were bothered by that, I apologize, but Invasion has always been a favorite film of mine, and you guys deserve to see a sequence from this from the film. If you haven't picked up Invasion of the Body Snatchers by Arrow Video, I highly and strongly recommend that you do. It is one of their premium titles that they put out, and it is a fantastic transfer. Great special features. I mean, like, just all this. This is the description of the movie. These are the special features. As you know, I haven't told you a lot because I've tried to stay a little spoilerish away. I've tried to stay away from spoilers, so that if you have not seen Invasion of the Body Snatchers, it's something that you really strongly have to see. It is a great film, and it tackles a lot of issues. They know it's timely even today. It may be even more timely today than it was back in 1978 when it was done. There will always be an Invasion of the Body Snatchers being done, and you know what? That's a good thing. Let's just hope that we get another Philip Kaufman style Body Snatchers. Don Siegel, Philip Kaufman, Ferreira, they all took their takes on the story in their respective times. Siegel and Kaufman, I think, were the most successful. Kaufman is my favorite. And thanks for watching, guys. For me right now, hope you enjoyed this review as much as I enjoyed Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Check it out. Get it. It's a great Arrow release. And for me right now, it's time for tea.